Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern. For about an hour, we talk about guns. I guess we've been doing it for 700 episodes. So we win. We're done now. We can quit doing this show. So I imagine these guys showed up. We'll talk again today, and then we'll end it. So we've got some people jumping in here for the last of our Daily Gun Shows. Gary jumping in from Kansas. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the invite, and congratulations on 700 shows.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks. We got Patriot jumping in from Michigan. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Yeah, well. Pink, thanks for jumping in.
Yep, thanks for the invite.
And then we got Ted, Pink's in Ohio. Then we got Ted jumping in from Nevada.
And thank you for the invite, and congratulations on the 700 episodes.
Yeah, I don't need to be congratulations, but yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. And
it represents a lot of work.
Yeah, standing around for a bunch of times, bunch of hours, 700 hours approximately. But no, work you get paid for. This is labor of love. So this is just 700 conversations that took place over the span of a bunch of time. So 700 Nitro Express is a bullet. And so we can actually tie it back to guns. So let's see, we got links out there. Finally got one out to Sarge there. Oh, there's Cycle Camp. And others have links. So we will be watching the comments over on the Gun Channel side. We've built Gun Channels more than 700 episodes ago. People that want to chat about guns. And then we're watching on the YouTube side as well. So no, I don't even know if there's a 700 Club. Well, there must be a 700 Club theme, but I don't know if anybody knows the 700 Club theme.
Isn't that a religious thing?
It was like a show, some kind of church show.
Yeah. Not a particular evangelist built the 700 Club.
So we got Cycle Camp jumping in from Connecticut.
Hey there. Hey, Pink. Good to see you, buddy.
Yep, hey, Cycle. And I'll be personally walking around with the pulpit to collect everybody's offerings to make it to 800.
There we go. You got that little plate with a stick on it.
Yep.
And then Ozzy saying, happy DCC. What is that? Is that 700? Dang, I should have done something like that. Is that 700 in the Romans? Oh,
I'm thinking it is.
The domain extension. That's interesting. So DCC. Boom. How about that? I've never seen such a big number. Yeah. DC.
Yeah, it is.
D is 500, 100, and 100. Cool. Yeah, thank you. And we got Sarge jumping in from, what do I always want to say, South Carolina? You're in North Carolina?
From North Carolina.
So we got Night Strike and Ellis in the South Carolina. And how many of you are in North Carolina?
I'm in North Carolina.
Anybody else from Gun Channels?
I think Mike.
Boomer hasn't set up an account yet, but I got to get on tomorrow to get that done. He's on my show all the time, but he will be on.
Right on.
And Obnoxious One, lives out towards the center of the state.
Okay. Is Charleston in North Carolina, right?
South Carolina.
Okay, I've only been to Charleston. Well, I guess I've driven through there. So I should mention at the beginning of the show, because I usually forget about doing this, that you can buy stuff. It's Friday, so that means it's Free Patch Friday. So if you want to buy stuff over at the Gear website store, that means you get free stuff. There's no coupons. There's no codes or anything. There's no minimum orders. Anything you buy comes along with free patches on Friday. And yeah, we really do appreciate the people that happen. I do even drop a link anymore. The people that help us out with keeping our projects online and on the road. That's literally how we do it. So that's why we try to keep stuff coming in and keep patches going out. Midas, Seven Wonders. Oh, Seven Wonders is in North Carolina. I don't know who Midas is. Oh, right on. Thanks for ordering. By the way,
MW Tacticals and
everything ordered today is already out, so it should be on its way to you already. Oh yeah, Mike is in North Carolina.
I thought he was.
I thought he was souther than that. All right, well, that's enough of playing around with where everybody's at.
See, that's why I hate the Friday show, because by the time it comes on, it's Saturday. You're in Connecticut, it's Saturday already.
But it's still Free Patch Friday in Arizona.
Oh yeah, you
So
can
it's still order.
I'm not gonna fudge with it. Yeah, if you order anywhere near Friday. Playing games with a couple of. Oh, you're playing with the video games. Yeah, the Mets playing video games over on some place. I don't know where they play the video games at. We've been in a live chat for Patreons because basically we have a void in the calendar right now, or in the schedule at least, I guess, for Friday nights where Clover had been doing a show and Edge had been doing a show. Now neither one of them is doing a live show. So Clover's playing around with doing his stuff off, what do you call it, like formatted or how's the word? You know, he's producing it and then just putting it up as opposed to a live broadcast. And then GS is Gunstreamer, dude. Gunstreamer. Anyhow, where are we going? 700 episodes? Are we going to talk about 700? What is it? 700
Nitro?
Nitro? Does anybody have one? I think I own one bullet.
I've
Sounds
never
like a
seen
devastated
one.
man there.
No, I don't hunt like elephants and shit like that, so I don't have a 700 Nitro.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It looks like a Sharpie marker or something, maybe even bigger than that.
About how long is that?
Not as long as a marker. It's like as long as 308, or I mean 30-06 or something like that, I think. Maybe a little longer. I just was looking at a bunch of pictures. I posted one on Instagram to let people know about the show. So I found one compared to a 7.62 by 39, what makes it looks really small. But if I put one up here next to other comparable stuff, 700 is the number 8. It's the same as a 505. What's something else in there that's normal caliber? It's about twice as long as a 7.62 by 39. So,
Okay.
Remington 700, yeah. Thanks, Pink. I totally forgot about the Remington 700.
Yeah, that was for midnight.
I know, I was trying to give you credit. But as a 5.56 also. But it looks pretty big. It looks like a big around of some people's thumbs. They must just get dudes with tiny hands to put some of these guns, or hold some of them. But it also looks like a giant 30 carbine round. It's kind of a ball round, and it's not tapered or necked or anything. So it's just kind of an interesting looking round. It looks fake, really, because it's so big, and it just looks like a giant 30 carbine. Oh, I guess I haven't even been screen sharing this whole time. But anyway, 700. Let's talk about 700 Remington 700s. Does everybody in here already have a Remington 700? Anyone have a Remington 700?
Nope.
A long time that was like the go-to bolt action, I think, for a lot of people.
Well, they used to use it as sniper rifles in the military.
Oh yeah. Jay Monty's got a good one. Any guns worth $700? Lots of guns. That's pretty much the sweet spot for guns, right?
New or used?
I mean, $700. Is $700? I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, that is pretty much the sweet spot. Like you can pretty much touch any gun on any spectrum. You could buy a really good junky version of a really good gun, or you could buy a really good version of a junky gun. But 700 will pretty much get you any gun out there, right? Except maybe machine guns.
Yeah.
But used 700 will get you all kinds of gun.
Oh yeah.
New, I mean, I don't know. It's pretty much every handgun. I've seen people when I was working at shops and hanging out at shops a lot. You know, people come in not knowing. I mean, if they come from golf or cars or motorcycles or RVs or something, they'll come in and they'll be like, I really don't want to spend that much. I've only got $800 to spend. Can I even get a gun for that? And it's like, yeah, pretty much anything you see in the glass here. Like 2 of the stuff on the lower shelves, and pretty much anything you decide you like, you can pretty much afford with that kind of money. All right, well, 700's dying, so our last episode is just dead air, just all why we're dying. Well, a lot of times people look back and do pet stubs, but we don't have nothing to go. That's nothing that's good, so we're just going to end it.
Well,
anything else?
If it's a 700th episode and you're trying to be nostalgic, I suppose, for the 700 episodes, what? Yeah, I ask maybe somewhat obvious questions, but some questions people may not know. What made you decide to start the show, and what made you decide to promote and do gun channels?
That's 2 different ones. So gun channels was 5. Yeah, gun channels was 5 years ago because Obama had been threatening to really screw with things via executive actions. So at the beginning of 2013, as a result of Sandy Hook shit, he decided that executive actions were necessary because it didn't look like, I don't know, he had enough influence to change everybody's minds and change laws. So the organic, I guess, the natural resistance to that by a bunch of people who are free was pretty awesome to be, to experience and to be in amongst. So when we saw that that was starting to die off, and some of the nuisance stuff that happens when you have a platform like YouTube that doesn't respect our position on our politics, doesn't respect our property, doesn't respect our values, doesn't respect our recreation, doesn't respect our choices for self-defense, and doesn't respect anything about or how we want to interact with our property and our culture, our community, then mix that with the platform that's anonymous. Anyone with a inclination can pretty much throw rocks over there. It's like a lot of glass over there. A lot of people can throw rocks, and they have some things in place, but if you want to abuse, it's a system that can be abused. And unfortunately, there's people out there that get their jollies from watching other people's efforts be dismissed or discouraged or hindered. And that was frustrating. As a person who likes to see people's creative efforts flourish, it was frustrating to see it on a platform, also all being kind of herded into these platforms that weren't made by people who like what we were doing, and could be so easily destroyed by someone who recreationally could decide to destroy someone's efforts. So we wanted to make a place that could allow people that didn't want to get all the way to the level of building their own website and doing their own thing online, who wanted to be platform centric, who wanted to build a place that was firearms friendly for those people, and then the audience to the people who want to create grassroots, content, create their own content, add their own flavor, add their own voice to the mix, be part of the conversation, and then all the people want to watch that. So we made a place that had a barrier of entry. You had to pay $1 a month to get into it, and that allowed it to pay for itself because there's a little bit of cost. And then mainly it gave us a community that is just $1 away from being free, and that gives us just about enough, whatever capitalist wall there that the suckasses who suck, too cheap to pay a buck, can't come in and cause as much havoc. And if they do, it costs them $12 to do it. And anyway, that prevented them because they're all a bunch of cheap no loads. So that's why we built gun channels. And then of course it's evolved over the years through all kinds of evolutions. And now we have a place that's a pretty strong platform with people that do Second Amendment content of multiple types, multimedia, and pretty much lasts 24 hours a day. And working with some of the other places like Gunstreamer that's out there right now, who provides video hosting for people that are creating video. Then we can complement each other's resources and create platforms and communities that allow people to continue building stuff. So this show was because Bob drove down. He was part of Gun Channels. He was part of the community on YouTube before that and was a big active member of Gun Channels, and decided to get up off his ass and do something, even though he doesn't live in this country, and experience it. So he took some money and he got his old shitty camper and an old shitty Dodge truck, drove it down here to the SAR show, actually, 3 years ago? Forget how long ago now, to go to this big gun show that's happening in Phoenix the first weekend of December for years now. And Bob showed up to see what a gun show is like in the United States, and I ended up meeting up with him up there, and he came down to Tucson and hung out for a while, and we started exploring gun shops together, and that was pretty fun. So we wanted to do something to talk about those gun shops, and gun channels existed, and we wanted to try to do something that we could do live during the day at gun channels to kind of involve people during the day, or with shifts that gave that daytime was their afternoons, so that they could participate and join the live show. And then so we eventually started the show to feature other people's content. Like if somebody wanted to do a 10-minute little spot on something, we wanted to have a show that was an hour long, and it would have 3 of those content slots for other people, and no one took us up on it. So we just ended up blabbing, and the show's gone, I guess, 700 episodes like that. That's a long answer to your question. So we got a new subscriber out there. Interesting. YouTube tells us when we get a new subscriber.
All right. So that would be it. What happened?
What happened?
For some reason, I'm hearing an echo. So then that would be the next question for each person is, how did you find gun channels?
That's a real good question. So I'm going to go left to right then. Cycle, where'd you find gun channels at?
I think I was doing a YouTube troll for a certain firearm, and I think Gun Channels had put up a YouTube video at the time, and then I tracked it back to the gunchannels.com. So I hate to admit it, but I found Gun Channels through YouTube, I believe.
Oh, that's cool. And then, honestly, we have a YouTube channel. We'd be better off, it would be outreach if we actually use the YouTube channel. We don't really use it because we don't like YouTube, but it is a tool, and we should be. I really would like to do, or have encourage someone to do a Friday or Saturday weekly wrap up. There's so many things that happen on gun channels, right? So you've got, let's just start Monday morning. You've got Knives will almost every morning start a live show, and that show will last 8 hours, and anyone's welcome to jump in and be part of that. So you've got people from all over the country that are waking up, people that are at work, people that are, again, third shifters, whatever it is, where that's their afternoon or their evening even. And then every once in a while, Ellis, because of his schedule now, has been doing morning shows where they literally just get on and talk news and stuff in the mornings. So then you've got sometimes in the afternoons, if people are available or around, they'll start shows. Black Cat's been doing that. Rupan's done that before. Pink has done it. And then you've got the primetime shows, they call them, which are the shows that are usually scheduled, formatted, well, sometimes formatted live shows with panels, or formatted things with interviews or something like that. And those shows really run, a couple of 3-4 hours a night usually. And then our show usually wraps up the nights at midnight for an hour. And then after this, there's live shows like Pink or Potatoes or Angelina or somebody, Dead Horse will run another live show that'll run 8 hours through the evening and run all the way up until the morning. So there's all this live stuff happening. That's just the live shows. Then you've got people that are creating their own videos and either posting them on their channels, ideally, so that they get archived and are easily found. But just posting stuff on the main page. People like Patriot has been posting some awesome quotes, kind of, are pertinent to the time, the days or the holidays and stuff. People will post news, right? You guys have been posting things about Bush right now, right? We all knew about Bush because it just happened, and people have been posting news and stuff like that. So it'd be great if on Fridays or Saturdays somebody were to do some sort of a wrap up, literally just go through, collect all the stuff that's happened on gun channels that week, make it into a live show, and then we could ideally put that, either do it live on the gun channels YouTube page, or eventually on the gun streamer gun channels YouTube page, do it live, have it render into a video, and then again have that as outreach or that as an archive over on YouTube, which is our resource to put stuff on right now. But then that way, of course, the conversation happens over on gun channels, but we leave some stuff out there to be found or searched or referenced. Then sometimes, what's like when you're having a conversation, like what happened 6 weeks ago, or when did we talk about such and such? Then we have something that we can go back and look for that's a little bit easier to dig through than trying to remember everybody's show. And, I know it happened before Christmas, but I don't remember whose show it was on. It'd make those kind of things a little bit easier.
All right, who's next?
Yeah, that was, Gary then.
How did I find gun channels? I found it watching Yankee Marshall. I was a big Yankee Marshall fan, and every once in a while when you guys would come on there to his channel, they'd always say at the end of the program, to check out gun channels, and finally I did.
Oftentimes, like, I'll be in the streets, and like a nun or a priest or somebody will come up to me and be like, "Why do you hang out with that Yankee Marshall guy?" And I'll be like, "Because of people like Gary come around from that." Patriot.
I won't say Yankee. It's a less known guy, just a little guy, Matt. You might, that never enough ammo guy. He, with his, I think it was Wednesday night chats. Yeah, with Heavy B and all the other guys on there, bringing it up. I had went over there, I guess it's been over a year and a half, 2, I don't know how long. It's been a while, but I made my account over there, and then I never used it, but slowly decided to start using it a lot more, and here I am.
Right on. Pink. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. It was in before gun channel started. I was watching the chats, and I can remember when you had sent out the notice that gun channels was live, and of course I was at work. I had to go to work, and by the time I got home, everybody had already started signing up for it.
You remember what number you are?
47.
Oh, right on. Sarge. Where'd you find gun channels? Probably right around his mute.
I don't think he heard you, Sarge.
Oh. He looks live.
Yeah. I think my internet's cutting in and out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I think my internet's cutting in and out. I found gun channels by watching Yankee Marshall. I was commenting back and forth, and I think Clover Attack responded to a couple comments. He invited me to come watch his live stream. So I watched his live stream, then I started hearing gun channels, and I started hearing the name pop up. I'm like, well, I need to check that out. And then I just slowly started watching more and more people that were on gun channels. So I'm glad I did.
Another Yankeean. Yankinian?
So that being said, I'm going to restart my router and I'll pop back in just a second.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Then we got Ted. You started it all.
Well, because I find it very funny because Yankee Marshall was also the person, and he at the end of his show he used to always say, "Go to gun channels, for more information and more stuff." And so I did one day, and I found it to be quite therapeutic. Gun channels is people from all over the world actually at different times pop in here, and I find it to be a great deal of really, really good people. It's hard to find good people you want to associate with. So all you retrobates, I want to associate with you, which says not a whole lot about me, but what the hell, you're good people to me.
Tater's saying he heard about it from Never Enough Ammo. Ozzy's saying he found it through Early Watch. So Jimmy and Tony were doing Early Watch for a year, more than a year. Every morning they'd get together and chat about Second Amendment news of the day and just gripe. And then started a bunch of people doing the Early Watch Nation concept, where people in each of the states would keep track of their Second Amendment news and stuff, and then kind of funnel it in. They could effort towards monitoring all the different stuff that's going on out there, and to provide a summary of everything that's happening. Pretty neat effort, and they had a pretty awesome following there. Unfortunately, Jimmy, like a lot of people, are trying to pay the bills and everything, and life kicked the shit out of them, unfortunately. So we're all got positive thoughts for Jimmy, always. Of course, Jimmy is the host of this show for a long time as well.
Yeah. So I guess we're ready for the next question.
Okay. Well, anybody has one?
I have another question. If you want another question to do a roundtable on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I've always had this question. When you start getting a little older, you start thinking more about these kind of things. If you had a chance to buy, what would be your last gun? Okay? What gun would you buy? You have all the ones you have, but you get to buy one more and only one more. Money is no object. What's the one more you would buy, and why would you buy it?
That's an interesting one. Anybody got an answer to that?
Yeah, whatever comes on an Abrams tank.
Ha!
I would love to have a tank sitting in my front yard. You would never have to say, "Get off my lawn" again. Never.
Do you have any idea how much, if you put it on your lawn, you'd have to be weed eating around that puppy? You'd have to be moving it so the grass underneath would grow? Come on.
No, I don't care about the grass underneath it. That takes care of itself.
Okay, all right. Anyway,
I have a yard, not a lawn.
Who's next? An Abrams tank. Hey, why not?
Is somebody else paying for these guns, or do we have to pay for them?
Money is no object.
Well, I want that pair of meteorite guns. What are they, like $4.5 million? Then I could sell them to somebody and keep the money.
Were those 1911s or were those
yeah,
Deagles?
They were 1911s. Yeah, Cabot, I believe.
Excellent choice.
I guess I still don't get the question. What's our last gun?
Yeah, in other words, you get to buy one more gun in your lifetime. It's one more. That's all you get, is to buy one more. What is the one more firearm that you would buy?
I can't live in that world. I don't know what world that is. The gun that would kill the guy that put that fucking infringement on me?
But you get to keep all the ones you have. but you get to buy.
That's no compromise. I want all the freedom to do whatever. So I don't know. That's a tough one.
Okay, the reason I was thinking of this is, because of my medical condition and blah blah blah. Okay, there were a couple times, when they told me I went, last the night. Okay, and it made me think of the fact that when we get older and whatnot, we may not live forever, and so we get to think about things like, what's the last firearm I want to buy? Okay, something to add to my collection that I really like to just shoot and have fun with, that just adds to it's the last one I get to buy.
Anybody else have an answer?
Hmm.
Do you have your own answer?
I do. Yeah. Actually, tell you the truth, I've been looking at lever actions, and today when that video came up with the lever action with the 357, okay, I'm going to go to the gun store this week and try to find one, or I'm going to do it online and buy one of those. Because I already have all sorts of rifles, handguns, you name it, shotguns, okay? But a lever action is something I don't have, and it looks like it would just be a fun little plinking gun to do a little target practice with.
Mm-hmm. I would take a real M14.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's got to be full auto.
I just want a real one. I don't want, civilian model of anything.
Yeah, not a castrated one.
Right.
Mine would be the Avenger rotary cannon.
There we go. Jeez.
And just because it's attached to an A10 doesn't mean anything. But
boy, trying to change my mind, aren't you? I was quite happy with the lever action earlier.
See, that's why you get the tank. Not only do you get the cannon, you get the fully automatic machine gun that goes with it too. You get everything, and then let those bastards come in and say, "Oh yeah, come turn it in."
It's not a tank; it's a flower pot. Get away from here. I'm just thinking of all the city regulations and everything.
That's right. It's a lawn ornament. Just tell that guy he's got to get rid of his flamingos first.
That's right. Here, if you need help getting rid of the flamingos, let me turn this sucker around a little bit. Okay, so I've asked several questions. Being the 700th episode, I was just trying to get a feel of different people for firearms and whatnot. Now I guess if someone else gets of a question they would think that everybody should, that you would like to hear their answers on.
Sounds good. I was going to say, when you were describing that situation or whatever, I was just going to, before you got to the part about, maybe not waking up in the morning or whatever, that's obviously a lot different. But if you were just talking about the potential loss of vision, I'd say we got Patriot in here who has proven that he's still enjoying firearms without vision in multiple ways, right? So
I love it. And I do have a question with the Daily Gun Show, with the traveling, the gun show loophole tour, that kind of thing. When did they kind of come together? And was that before or after the start of the Daily Gun Show?
Right. Well, I guess technically I was playing with podcasts first, so I called it the I Hate Guns podcast, and I would just do it every once in a while on the Gun Website's YouTube channel. And then Bob, like I say, came down to visit, and we started hanging out just because Bob wanted to check them out, and I like to periodically go check out the different gun shops in Arizona. So we started going kind of touring a day at a time and checking out Southern Arizona gun shops, Tombstone and Sierra Vista. And then we did the Tucson ones. Then we decided on Bob's. Bob was leaving to go back to Canada. We went through New Mexico, checked out a gun show, some gun shops there, and then into Colorado. And then Bob went north, and I came back. And that was sort of, while we were doing the podcast, or we had already kind of merged the podcast and started calling it the Daily Gun Show. And that's pretty much how it all evolved, with the concept of checking out shops and trying to do the feature a shop every day on the show and incorporate that into traveling around and visiting shops. So I guess 2 years ago.
So the next one was one of your full trip where you planned and went to the East Coast?
So back in 2012, we've been doing YouTube for a bit. So I grabbed up all the money I'd made that year, and Haas came down from Oregon, and I just bought the cop car. So we took the cop car, and our goal was to go to the Bannerman Castle, and we never got there, to DC area, and the cop car was acting funny, and we were getting blown off by cutlery lover in Pennsylvania, so we weren't going to head north, and decided not to drive into DC, basically, or New York, with all the guns we had. We had a lot of guns. So anyway, so we never got to that ultimate goal on that trip, and that was frustrating, and that castle keeps crumbling. So when I was thinking, okay, I'm going to try to effort towards getting to check out gun shops, when destinations were coming around, that one, the New York castle became, Bannerman Castle became a destination. So I guess that's why I decided to do a big trip. It wasn't a good idea, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, but financially at least, but certainly an adventure. That's what life's all about, right?
So I do have one more question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
What is being planned for the replacement of the Daily Gun Show? Because I can't imagine gun channels without the Daily Gun Show. So there's got to be, maybe the only reason 700 episode is the end is because something incredibly wonderful is planned to continue on. Just name something different.
Oh, no. Gun channels were around way before this show, and it'll keep going beyond this show. Plus, this is 27 people. Yankee's got 600 people watching his shows when we're on it, and more when he's on it by himself. Matt's got hundreds. I don't know, what does Night Strike get now? It must be more than us, 50s, hundreds. For Hit or Miss, he's been doing that one for a long time. I don't know what Ghost and Clover are getting, and Rick's probably drawing more than us. So our show is really just a closer for the night. When you're up in the middle of the night, Ted, most people aren't up this late. There's a whole bunch of, most of gun channels happens from, I'd say, maybe 4 p.m. Eastern to 10, 11 Eastern.
Yeah, but it's a staple of gun channels to have the Daily Gun Show. I mean, these other people during the day talk about what happened on the Daily Gun Show.
Sometimes, not everybody. Like I say, there's definitely different groups of stuff, and depends on, like I say, it depends on which show you're watching. I'm sure HBS doesn't talk about what's happening on this show. Midnight is asking, is there someone on gun channels from every state? I don't think so. I think we were talking about that the other day. There's a couple of states, I think, that stand out that we don't have anybody from.
There's people from Hawaii. There's people from all of the western states that I know of. There's somebody.
Do we have Montana? See? And Wyoming?
What about Alaska?
We've had people. D.B. Cooper got married, remember? To that girl from Alaska?
Oh, yeah.
And Honoree acts like he lives in Alaska, so. sideways Alaskan.
He's a Texan who acts like he's from California. Come on.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions? That was kind of fun, Ted. But I don't know.
I had a quick question that's not related to gun channels.
Okay.
I was curious as to when everybody bought their first gun for carry, and why did they buy it?
Okay. So we'll go the other way since you're on that side. Well, my first gun for carry was a shotgun because I was going around into the woods, and I figured if there was a bear or something, I'd want to have a shotgun. So Ted, and what do you mean? Did you say how? When?
Well, I don't carry. You're talking concealed carry.
Oh, carry.
Well, it could be constitutional carry, it could be open carry. I don't care.
Oh, open carry. Okay, the reason I joined gun channels and became interested in gun channels is all my life people handed me guns. I had never actually bought one myself. And I was considering buying a gun for the first time. Because I had all these guns that were handed to me all my life. I mean, a whole collection of guns. So, I mean, I've always had shotguns. I've always had, stuff you carry and, So I'm a little bit different situation than most people are in.
I mean, Sarge is next.
Yes. Here. What are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
The question was, well, it was your first gun for self-defense, but was your question how old were we or when was it?
Yeah, when was it?
So when did you get your first gun specifically for
When did you get your first gun for at like EDC, and why did you get it?
I started. I bought a Springfield XD 40 after I started at work after I got sworn, went into law enforcement because I had to. I mean, I didn't carry up until that point. I needed to start carrying off duty if I was carrying on duty because I started, having to deal with people in a different way. So you have to be prepared off duty. So, but the longer I have worked in this business, the more I realize that people need to carry, no matter what you do. I've come to realize that after seeing a lot of things. I haven't seen the worst things, but I've seen a lot of things where, a lot of times someone that can take care of themselves can stop a bad situation before it starts.
And that's what I was going to add to that. You're talking not because there's so many bad things happening that you got to have a gun if you're outside because, oh my goodness, you're never going to survive. It's because a little tiny thing can be avoided completely by brandishing or the confidence of knowing that you can deal with it. And that alone.
It's just knowing.
Yeah.
Like we were after my first son was born, we were over one county over, and we're at Sam's Club, and someone came up and started talking to me, and he was asking me questions. He was asking for some money. He was asking for, asking for some help, and I didn't like the way the guy looked. I didn't care for him, and I mean I was armed at the time, but he picked up real quick on my attitude that it was time to go elsewhere. And I don't really know what his intention was. I don't like how he got a little bit too close. Like when I was opening up the door and starting to put the stuff in the car, and he picked up on my attitude very quickly that it was best for him to go elsewhere. And that's part of it. I did have some backup. Didn't have to display it. He didn't know I had it, but it's just part of it. So.
Right on. So Pink, first CCW.
First CCW was 1911. Probably about I think it was 93 or 93, 2013. Because I mean, I'm getting older. I'm not young and can fight like I used to anymore. And in the line of work I was in, I was, catching a lot of people shoplifting and everything, and everybody knew me. So I figured I'd get my CCW for when I'm, not at work. And with the everything that happened in 2013 and Obama, I was like, well, now's the time to get my CCW and really start collecting.
Right on. Patriot.
The first one I bought to carry it was before I could carry. That's a good question. I think it was probably the Smith & Wesson Shield, just because I bought it because the price, and it was one I didn't have. But yeah, size wise, and the people I was talking with at the time, that's what several of them had. It's not anything I've used since I've been carrying, but that was the first concealed carry pistol I bought.
Cool, Gary.
And that was 4 years ago. So.
Gary.
Sorry about that. I was muted. Spring of 2015, my daughter came to me and wanted to buy a pistol, so I helped her buy one. I knew nothing about them before. I went to the range with her when she went to try it out, and she had me try it. And after I shot it, I was hooked. I said I had to have one. So the next day, I went and bought one. It was a Taurus TCP, and I still have it.
And that brings us back to Cycle Camp, who started the whole thing.
I got mine. I bought my first 3 carry guns all in 2013 between April and May. And it was because of Obama and because of the 2013 Connecticut law that was being talked about. And I knew I was going to have to get a pistol permit one way or the other. So at that point in time, I just started carrying full time.
Interesting. So I started carrying, well, like I say, I got my first shotgun when I was for carrying out in the woods and stuff long time ago, I guess in the early 90s. And then basically never ever been a fan of shotguns for reasons like you can't carry enough ammo and whatever. So I switched to a revolver at some point. I was over 21. And out here, before there was constitutional carry, and even before there was a carry permit, you could open carry. And then we have the international border with Mexico, and there's always been potential violence with mostly the drug traffickers. So when we go hunting or something, or just walking around hiking down there, we'd carry all the time. So I guess nobody includes hiking, hunting, fishing, or anything, or carrying during that, or just did you guys not carry during any of those outdoor activities back in the olden days in the 90s?
I used to start in the Boy Scouts.
Oh no, we didn't get to carry guns in the Scouts at all. If we had guns at Scouts, they were in the firing range, and they stayed at the firing range.
Oh well.
I had guns for hunting, but I didn't count hunting because I didn't do hunting every day. So even I had a 22 pistol that I carried when I hunted all the time, but I didn't count that because it wasn't an everyday carry gun; it was a hunting gun.
Yeah, and Cycle, you said 3 guns, but you didn't mention what they were.
I put them in the chats. The first one I got was an FN FMP9, and the reason I got something that big was because I had a pistol instructor that carried one, and I never even knew he had it on him. and I had known him for months. So I said, well, shit, if he can carry one of those, I can. And then I got, for deep conceal, I got a Diamondback 380, and I liked the 380, but I really wanted to go to a 9mm, so I went to a PT 709 Slim. But I got rid of this. Well, I didn't get rid of it, but I stopped carrying a Slim because it has a safety. And now I carry a Car CM9, which is my everyday carry gun. So I've pretty much been the gamut. You know, when I'm carrying for show, which means I'm carrying not concealed, I carry the FN. And that's also my bedside gun. That's a gun I take out every night. I take it out of the safe every night, and I put it right next to me where I can get at it.
Yeah, I knew I liked Psycho for some reason.
That's probably why he doesn't do a blind challenge. He likes 9mm.
Yeah, they're too hard to take apart. They're so small, you know. It's just hard to take them apart and put them back together.
Ha!
Pants is saying his first carry gun ever was a SIG P239. They didn't say when.
I have to admit, I seriously considered that gun. That is a really sweet gun.
10 years ago. Pink says, what gun? Taurus Millennium's what you got your daughter for her first gun. What age?
Yeah.
What age?
2 years ago. She was 24 at the time.
That was her first gun? 24.
Yeah.
You're bad.
That's a single stack, isn't it?
It's a bad parent.
No, it's a double stack.
Oh, it is. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, see, she wasn't really. I mean, they're, you know, her mom and everything. They weren't really big into carrying guns and stuff like that. I mean, she went out hunting when she was, little and stuff. I mean, she's got more deer. Got a couple deer hunting. But as far as carrying pistols or anything like that, they never got into that.
You're saying her first carry gun when she was 24, not her first gun ever.
Right.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like she didn't have a gun until she was 24. That would have been bad parenting.
No, they just weren't into the pistol side of it and carrying. And she saw, with me carrying all the time, she kind of got interested in it and had me take her out to the range and everything. And I pretty much brought a whole slew of guns, and she actually shot the G19 the best, but she didn't like it because, she wanted a safety on it. And I had just bought that Millennium G2, and I let her shoot that, and she liked it, and I was like, well, here's your birthday present.
So as we were talking about EDC or CCW, I guess there, but I was going to ask, what age do you get your daughter her first gun? Anybody else have daughters in here?
I have 3 of them.
Okay.
Yep, I got one.
Y'all got daughters, right? Except for me and Cycle?
They all learned to shoot at about 14. Usually around 16 or 17, I bought them their first long gun. And
what year was that? What years was you buying your daughter's guns at 16 years old?
90s.
Okay.
92, 94, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And my son got his too, but and the handgun, what I told him was that, I can buy him a shotgun, I can buy him a long gun, but the handgun is a very personal item. It's something that has to fit the individual. It's something that an individual has to really like. A handgun to me is not like something you can buy for somebody. Each person has a different hand, a different feel, a different thing that they like about their handgun. So I told them they were responsible for buying their own handguns. I went with the 3-gun theory.
And,
Just
and
for-
I do have a daughter, by the way.
Oh, okay. So then everybody, what
Yep.
age you start giving your daughter her first gun?
I never gave her a gun. She never wanted one. I mean, I bought one that she really loved,
Bad
but
parent.
I never gave her one because I'm a bad dad.
Bad parent. Sad. That's
Actually, no, that's not true. I gave her her first gun about 4 years ago. I gave her a 12-gauge shotgun for the house.
All right.
But that's because her she didn't have the husband at the time, but the current husband is not a gun guy. So, and I keep telling her, get your permit and I will shower you with stuff. But he doesn't want her to get her permit either. So, but I feel okay that she's at least got the 12 gauge under the bed.
Who's next?
I got my. Oh, I bought my daughter a Crossman pellet / BB rifle, and she was 9. That was.
Does that count? Well, she's young still, so she's.
Yeah, she's 11 now. So.
Now, does she have guns of yours that are hers?
Oh, when I'm dead, they're all hers.
I know. What I'm saying is, like, when we'd be going out shooting or whatever, I just claimed a bunch of them, and like these were mine. She doesn't have a bunch that she's claimed of yours, like when you go shooting.
No, she's actually never went shooting as far as live rounds with me.
Oh, okay.
It's just it hasn't worked out. Not that she's against it or anything, but it's just it hasn't worked out yet.
All right. Well, you're not technically a bad parent yet, but
yeah, Christmas is coming.
Oh,
So.
My daughter has one of those. I had a Browning Buckmark, and she was dead nuts accurate with that gun. She loved that gun, and because of that, I never sold it. I kept it the whole time. And if she ever gets her frickin' permit, I'll give it to her.
I would like to add one thing. If any, the pistols are a personal thing, and that whole thing. If anyone wants to buy me one, I will accept it. It doesn't have to be personal. So
I meant for your kids.
Well, you can adopt me if you want. If you're gonna buy me, it depends on what kind of pistols you're gonna buy me. But
yeah, exactly. You would have to go and find one that you really liked, and then said, "Hey, Dad, buy me this."
Yeah, I got a High Point 40. I'm sure would fit you like a glove.
Yeah,
I'd like to watch you take it apart because the spring will send you right across the room.
You're going to have to knock a pin out first.
I have one daughter who likes throwing knives and throwing the stars and stuff better than she likes shooting.
Oh, that's cool.
it's all right, I guess. But
She's
she's
a
going to
mechanic.
get ninja. She has to not favor any one weapon and has to master them all. So
She's a mechanical engineer, and she knows how to shoot. She can shoot, but she really, really likes throwing knives and stars and stuff like that.
always a good idea.
Yeah, I think my daughter kind of likes the idea of me always buying guns because she knows she's going to get them when I'm gone.
Anybody else want to throw in there? Have your parenting judged by the group? Takes a village to tell you didn't start your daughter's shooting early enough.
oh, definitely, I know I didn't. I had to get the mom out of the way first. So
Yeah, that's part of the problem is the mom is not, my ex, she didn't mind that I had guns and I went hunting. But when it came to the daughter, she was kind of, that was not a real good thing. And we divorced early. I think my kid was like 8 or 9 when we got divorced. So that was right at primo gun time. So what are you going to do?
Now, is it because it was daughters or all kids would have been under the same thing?
No, I think it was just the whole kind of creeped her out a little bit.
We lived in Southern California, And like I said, I always had firearms. It was no big deal. We moved to Nevada, and family members bought my wife a shotgun and a few other guns as housewarming gifts. And she went out and started shooting and going to the range, and we built a range in the backyard. And it was like, I had no idea you liked guns. She goes, you never asked me. We'd already been married for like 15 years by this point, and she didn't, it never came up in conversation. But once she was given that there were her guns, okay, man, she took to it. And then she started saying what guns she wanted. When you live in Southern California, it's just not one of those conversations you generally have with anybody.
Yeah, I know my daughter, she was checking out the custom grips and everything you could get on the 938s, the 911s or 1911s and other guns, because she was wanting to put fancy custom grips on all my guns.
Ha! Before you die.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they want to bedazzle your grips, that when they bedazzle your grips, that's when you buy them their own guns.
See, that's not what she's doing. She's wanting you to bedazzle them. That she probably knows the price.
No.
I know, Dad. It's just like, I know, Dad, you're still alive, but what I like to do is just see how this fits in my hand and what grips I'm gonna get for when they all become mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's my problem. My daughter says, "Oh yeah, Dad, those are the rosewood, or black grips. No, they're not hot pink or." No. She wouldn't do that. She's got more taste than that, I think. Yeah,
anyway,
so I'm going to take a break here since we've been going for a while, and 11:11 on my clock, which is neat because it's all ones. So I'm going to take a break and jump over to two places: our Patreon and our YouTube channel, the Gun website's YouTube channel. We've got you got a community tab that I think everybody gets a community tab. My screen sharing, yes. If you don't, maybe you have to have 1,000 subs. I don't know. There might be some threshold to get a community tab. But
there's something, because I just got mine the other day.
Okay, so maybe you just got 1,000 not too long ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say good night.
Super chat also?
Not yet. Not yet.
So maybe it's 1,000 subs. Go ahead, Ted.
I'm going to say good night.
Okay, thanks for jumping in.
Okay. Yeah, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks for keeping it going. So anyway, there's a community tab on YouTube. Shitty platform, I might as well use it. Doesn't cost nothing right now. Anyway, it allows you to put basically a blog post up there, and gun streamers watch, and this would be a neat thing to add because it lets us do shit like this. So I basically put a poll up there, and it says, what direction should we go in 2019? And I put a couple of options in there, and I also asked people to leave comments with additional ideas. So and I did the same thing over on our Patreon. Patreon also allows you to post a poll. So it's the same questions, or I guess, what would these be called? Options. So 2A history, ammo history, AK-47 info, tiny gun info, or gun cartoons and comics. And over on YouTube, it's getting wailed on 50% 2A history. Mm-hmm. Pretty much everything else is falling behind. AK, I guess, is a little bit ahead of the others, but predominantly 2A history. And if I click on the comments over there, Seven Wonders said the tiny guns, but he's also into 2A history. I don't want to gender assume, sorry. They said 2A history. And then David saying ammo history. I chose ammo history, but I like to see cartoons and comics too. And then Trucker saying 2A history. They only let me do one, but the comics also. So I mean, I put stuff up there. I'd be down to do any of this stuff, and I am curious to see what kind of direction people want to take it. Looks like predominantly 2A history with 34 votes right now over on YouTube. So anybody, I don't think you have to be, I don't know if you have to be a sub or not to be able to vote. I guess you can tell me. you want to vote, feel free. Otherwise, don't. But remember that there's this community tab, and it's a way to interact with your audiences over on stupid YouTube platform. I think it shows up just like a video. You guys will have to tell me. Did this show up like a video in your feed? As if I posted a video on stupid YouTube? Anyway.
Yes, it came through. It said that you had posted something.
Okay, thanks.
So it was announced to me. I don't know what it looks like, though, as far as on my listing.
I didn't even have a picture or nothing, so it's just going to look like 2 sentences and then some options. Then I did the same thing over on Patreon and opened it to anybody who wants to post. So you don't have to be a supporter to, or no, wait, no, you do have to be a supporter in order to vote. So, you know, because what the hell? I want my support. I'm going to wait to this one because these are the people that are financially keeping the thing going. So, two-way history is just squeaking by over on Patreon. With a close second with comics and ammo history. So again, if you're interested in giving me some feedback, I wanted to take a break there and let people know about those 2 places to give me some feedback and let me know if as I'm planning 2019 with some overall strategies and stuff. As the people who are supporting us financially on Patreon, let us know over there. And again, if you're running Patreon, if you do Patreon with your channels, it's a tool, right? Use the features that are over there, and the polls are a good way to get ideas from your audience. Clover uses them quite a bit. I think he gets a lot of coverage out of them or distance out of them. So they're just, when you go to make a post, it gives you the option of a poll in there with some other stuff. All right, thanks. And then I guess we can jump back. Oh, I was going to move on to something else, I think. We've been talking just kind of general questions and stuff. Where was I going to go? Oh, Zorro over on the gun channel side asked a while back, what kind of hiking boots do you guys recommend to buy? So he must be planning on getting the hell away from all them fires, walking away from them. So I'm going to go left to right. I'm assuming we all at least own boots, if not wear them all the time. Do you have a brand? I don't care if you wear them right now. Do you have a brand that you recommend for hiking specifically? Cycle? Boots? Mutes? Gary? He got gizzarded. Chickens wear boots? Pink, you're here.
The only hiking boots I've got are kind of work specific because of the soles on them. They're from Shoes for Crews. They're non-slip, but they're also steel-toed. So that's about the only hiking boots I've got.
Okay, Patriot? Boots, flip-flops? Half the Marines I know wear flip-flops all the time. What's going on? We still here? Are we still live?
Yeah,
We are.
Cycle. Boots.
Yeah.
Do you wear
Yeah,
them?
I have hiking boots because, believe it or not, because of my cruising. And a lot of the countries I go to have very rough streets, cobblestones and shit, and you need a really good sole and good arch support. So I have good heavy hiking boots for that stuff.
Well, you said arch support, and what about ankle? I think ankle when I think of boot. You go with a high boot.
Yeah, I do tend to get higher tops because I have really weak ankles. That's why I don't ice skate anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I figure boots are a tool, right? They're to aid you in doing something so you can do more, right? So I don't know how strong.
See, that's why I don't. Go ahead. Oh,
Go ahead.
That's why I don't wear boots all the time, because one thing I kind of learned it in high school. Whenever I wore like high top shoes in high school, my ankles got weaker.
Yeah,
So
that's a thing.
Once you take them off and you stop, yeah. I wore them forever. I don't usually wear them now. If I do, they're not real boots. They're like Doc Martens or something. But you know, as far as names, I don't know. I mean, I've wore a lot of different types, but nothing that's, specific. I like the ones that's got the shank in the bottom or whatever you call it, the metal piece or whatever, but there's changed so much. I'm not brand specific. I do like speed laces and have them laced right so that they stay tight.
Speed laces for me meant like not soft cloth, but like a really like a 550 cord with no core. It was like a 550 cord outer shell, except the whole cord was made out of it, so it was really stiff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I like those type of laces. Yeah, the more cord instead of flat. I don't like any of that stuff.
Gotcha.
And then go from the outside in through the eyelet so that even if it comes untied, your boot's still tight.
Oh, okay.
If you lace them correctly the way you're supposed to, you go from the outside in, and so when you cinch it, the boot pinches the lace tight and keeps it tight.
Interesting.
Should have learned that in the Army.
No, I don't. I was just going to say, I don't think they got us to that. And plus, we didn't have that. We had the little metal.
Oh, the little eyelet.
They came out from the side of the boot, and they were super fast to go on and off. But we had like a billion of them. It was like lacing up ice skates or like something. It was crazy. But no, and so you only went in and out. Like it didn't have. I know what you're talking about though. Like on a Nam era boot, it would be like the leather with an eyelet, and it would go through, and the leather would pin it.
Yeah.
So you just have regular laces too, though. So when you put like you're talking cord on there instead of laces, those are way easier to deal with.
Yeah, and the thickness, because of the lace being round or whatever, it helps cinch it. I mean, you can do it on even my shoes. I mean, I still do it. It's kind of beating your brain, but.
Pink, you already went then?
Yeah.
Sarge, you got something to throw in on boots?
He's muted. You're muted, Sarge.
That's because I had to go check and see what kind of hiking boots I have. I usually wear like a low top, like my Under Armours, and I've got some jump boots that are. I've got some Rocky jump boots, but my actual hiking boots are Belleville. They're Tactical Research by Belleville. I'm very happy with them. So,
ding, ding, ding! I bought a pair of Bellevilles for $35 used at the Miller Surplus here in Tucson. Bob was like, "I want to buy a pair of Army boots for $35," and I'm like, "I'll go with you." We went down there, and he bought a pair of whatever the standard ones are, which are like normally $75. So he got a good deal. And then they had a pair of Bellevues sitting there, and you can tell the difference between Bellevues and regular military like combat boots, issue boots. And I'm like, what? And they were my size. And I mean, the soles they're not like aggressive, let's climb through mud soles. They're more like what a paramedic or a cop might wear. They're just a little bit more aggressive than shoes, but they're flat, so you can wear them on concrete and stuff. So anyway, they had a little bit of like a wear funny, and yeah, $35. So normally those things were like $250, something crazy. Awesome boots, made in Illinois. Contract, almost exclusive contract to military law enforcement. Awesome.
Yeah,
boots.
I'm thrilled with mine. I would highly suggest them. Anyone to try them out if they find some.
Super comfortable. Yeah, I've got so many miles in those. But so I like combat boots. So I'm boring, except I like them Bellevue. How do you say it?
I mean, there's Belleville.
Okay,
Belleville in Illinois.
Something in there, so I always say Belleville or something. But Monty's saying our Timberland's good. Has anybody had any experience with them?
Yeah, I've used Timberline. Those are pretty good. Timberlines and Carolinas are the two that I like.
I used to wear that style of boot when I was working more, but it was like in the early 90s, and there was less options available. So that was just like, a work type of boot that had, met all the qualifications like Patriot was saying. I wanted a steel shank and a steel toe. And
yeah, the Timberlands are really popular with the Swedish tourists too. I used to work at Track and Trail for part-time so I could get a discount on docks, and they'd come in and buy a whole bunch of them.
I don't know. For me, I'm trying to think. I don't know if they'd be the most comfortable hiking. I guess if you had socks and stuff to cushion them up, but they're kind of like a upside down bell shape, right? Where normally I want my hiking boot to be the other way around. I want it to like hold my foot and keep it all together instead of letting it squish out like a work boot's basically letting you squish out all over. I'd recommend surplus stores for sure. See if you can get some used cop or paramedic boots though, because paramedics and cops stand on their stuff all the time. They have to be able to have traction to get around, but they also have boots that can still work on like stairs and ladders and things, where military stuff can be so aggressive sometimes, like you know, it can be too aggressive for just walking around town sometimes. The treads, I mean.
Yeah, my favorite cycle riding boots are actually Air Force boots that have the zipper up the side. So you put them on, you lace them up good so they fit good and snug, and then you just drop the zipper when you want to get in and out of them. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I guess people are saying stuff on YouTube. Scott said Merrill's. I don't know if I've ever tried those, but I know I don't think I've heard too many people complain about them. Are those the ones that cost quite a bit though? And I think they are made in the USA, right? Let's see. You also said Doc Martens. I've never been able to afford anything like that.
They're not anything you want to hike in anyway.
They're sort of like a work boot, right? Where they're just like a flat inside, so kind of.
It depends. They used to be nice, where they were more of a combat style boot, but now I think they're more fashionable. I mean, the leather is really nice and cushy, but it's not anything. I mean, some people probably do. I don't know. I mean, I have Doc's shoes, but they make sandals, so I don't know how work related they are anymore. I could be wrong, so don't listen to me.
Then we got Echo saying I like Danner boots. If you're gonna spend some money, they're a real deal. I've had Danners, I think, before.
Are there any boots to stay away from though?
I've had SWAT, whatever. Is that's original SWAT or something like that? And they're made in China, and they look like a regular military boot or whatever. They gave me a pair one year at SHOT Show, right? I was walking by, somebody said, go over and get them. They'll give me a pair of boots. So I was like, okay, shit, I need a pair of boots. So they gave me a pair of boots. I think they were like $100 boots. And I'm cheap, right? So I think I wore those boots for like 3 years or 4 years. Like, they held up well. And I'm not little. Like, I beat the crap out of them, and they held up. So as much as I don't like China stuff, those original SWATs were pretty good. But normally I'd say, why buy China when you can buy those Bellevues?
Yeah, it's just, I would say the ones to stay away from are some of the cheap ones you buy at a big box store. Just stay away from the cheap ones. They're more trouble than they're worth.
Do they still have Payless shoe stores where you can get like buy one get one free for a while? I don't know if they don't have them here anymore.
Yeah, I think we still have them.
There's a few. A lot of them closed, but there's a few still open.
I really wasn't paying attention as I was driving around, but I don't see them in Tucson anymore. But they had non-leather, so for being a vegan, they were awesome. They look like a work boot, but they were made out of some man-made material. And those things, I mean, I was using those as work boots for a while, and they would hold up pretty decent. I usually would beat them up before they wore out, like just dropping a gate on them or something. Would smash boots after a while, but that's the kind of job I was doing. So I knew I was going to be going through boots, and I just didn't want to be going through expensive boots. And I was always surprised at how well those Payless man-made material boots held up, considering I think they were like $30 or something. I bought these Bellevue ones used. Did you guys buy used boots or only buy new boots?
Yeah, I got my Carolinas, believe it or not, at a tag sale for $5. I mean,
Yeah.
they were like brand new in a box.
I don't think you can go wrong with buying them used, right? If you find ones that fit you, because if they turn out to be like perfect for you, then and you got some issue with them being used, or they're not perfect because they were, used for a reason, then you know to go buy a new pair and they're going to be awesome, right? But if you put, like you're saying, like a $5 pair of really expensive boots and you put them on and you're like, oh man, these are horrible, like they hurt or there's something weird about them, you just saved yourself a bunch of money, right? Plus, you can probably sell them for more than $5.
Absolutely.
There's probably a lot of people that buy them and then they're either not sized right or they didn't know what they were doing or something changed and they started using them and couldn't continue. If you're doing one of those, the AP or one of the trails and stuff. So I'm sure, especially along, in those areas, you could come across them.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to buying used boots. Not at all.
What size boots you got on? You guys are saying Nurse Martins and then Orderly Martins.
Yeah.
Physician's Assistant Martins.
Or wait, what is it? Chiropractor Martins?
No, the worst ones are the patient Martians.
A lot of people are talking about getting 50-50 deals from their employers. Now I'm going back and hating my old jobs again, even worse, because I never got no even offer of a 50-50 deal. That'd be pretty cool.
Has anybody used the Red Wings? Those were
channels.
Yeah, those were pretty good.
Weren't those super expensive though?
That was one of the ones that a lot of the factories and stuff would do. Those. I don't know if they gave you like a coupon, something like that. But yeah, I think they are a little pricey, but they last forever. But that's more, that's more of an industrial, work boot kind of thing. I don't know if you want to actually hike in some of those.
So back when I started hiking, it was in the 80s, and it was all the rage to put on Colorado hikers. Do you guys remember those? Which was basically like you take a cow and you strip off its meat and you put the rest of it into a boot, and then you make another cow into another boot and you'd walk around in that. So there was like giant leather boots with massive treads. And for some reason we thought those things were awesome. I hated them now that I think back on them, but so I started out with a real heavy boot that was super rigid. It was almost like a glacier boot, like you would, like you were going to be falling off a glacier and you didn't want your ankles to break. But then I went to almost a shoe, but still with ankle support. And now I'm back to these Bellevues, which are basically like almost what you would see a police officer wear or a paramedic wear, except in tan. So in other words, they don't have an aggressive sole. It's more like almost like a really beefed up gym shoe sole. Go ahead.
One of my favorite pairs are I've got some Under Armour Valsets. Well, now whether I'm pronouncing that correct or not, I don't know. That's the way it looks like it's pronounced. But some Valsets, and they're like they're just kind of like a really beefy over the ankle high top tennis shoe. Those are some of the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn in my life, and they work pretty well. They don't have the most aggressive sole. They've got a somewhat aggressive sole. They're like a hiking shoe, but they are super comfortable. We're just running around in every day.
I had some of the high techs back in the 90s. They were supposed to be, military spec or whatever, but they were like wearing a tennis shoe. I mean, there were those air weight feels, and I didn't think it lasted too long. They didn't stand up, and they had more of a tennis shoe sole on them. But they sold them at the exchange for cheap. So
yeah, my work has like a partnership with the shoes I get. So they'll actually, for paying for the shoes, they'll take it out of my check, like a little bit every check. Yeah, after a few weeks, the shoes are paid for.
And then when your companies are doing this, are they getting any kind of like group rate also? They're like buying it for their whole like employee force.
Yeah.
Mr. Right is saying,
Yeah, there's
he's using
there's the boots I wear.
oh, the gun channels boots.
Yeah.
Completely vegan, made with nut leather.
Those are actually made with leather. They've changed their designs the past year or two, but my boots are from like 10 plus years ago. I've got the high tops and low top of the same boots, so yeah, they last forever.
All right, so Zorro started all this. He asked, are Danner's good boots? I think we all said yes, right? Zorro, if you got any other specific questions, feel free. Otherwise, we just threw all kinds of best boot brands at you. And let's see, did we talked about the polls over there, and talked that it is still Free Patch Friday, so anybody that wants to can go grab something over the Gear website store. That keeps our projects online, and you get free stuff on Fridays like patches. So anybody wants to grab something over there is more than welcome to, and encouraged to do so. It's a good time to buy Christmas presents because of Christmas. Anything else? Do we go to chat about anything else before we head out tonight? Does anybody have an after show? I keep forgetting to talk about the after shows over on gun channels.
I don't see anybody post anything.
Remember Bush died today, so Bush Sr. died. Looks like Taters does have a live chat going on over there. Whether or not it's live, you can find out after the show over on gun channels.
And I know Bush died today, but 94 is not a bad run.
94 years old, director of the CIA, president, vice president.
Yeah, he did good.
Pilot.
Oh, yeah. That's a long time with all that stress.
And, you know, I can't believe he lasted that long. Jesus.
Do we have a shop of the day?
Gun shop of the day.
Oh, gun shop. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we're not going to do a gun shop. We'll do a gun show. So this weekend, we'll do two things. We'll do a gun show, and we'll talk about Ghost. So our friend Ghost is heading over to Tennessee to train with Jaeger. So he went to some place today. I forget what they did. Hearing protection. He stopped there, so he's doing his thing and doing his bit of a tour, driving from Arkansas over through Memphis into Tennessee, and experiencing a trip or a training class where he has to drive and do it remotely. He'll be staying in their facility somebody made up there called, what's it called? Something in, oh, now I can't think of the name of the place. Anyway, there's an off-site place where most of the people that take the classes stay, which will give them a different opportunity than some people where you go to a hotel or something, in the evenings on a multi-day class, and you don't really get a chance to hang out with the other students and stuff. The place that he's staying, it's more like a barracks type of situation with bunk beds and stuff I think. So that should give them an opportunity to really bullshit with a whole bunch of students and stuff. So that should be pretty fun. We'll be getting all kinds of feedback on that, I'm sure, in the next week. But this weekend is also actually taking place right now is the Small Arms Review Gun Show, which is Small Arms Review is a magazine, and it comes out, I think, every other month. It might be monthly. It kind of changes over the years. But it's mostly focused on NFA items, things on the National Firearms Act registry. So people that like short-barreled stuff, people that like belt-fed stuff or large caliber stuff, they subscribe to this magazine. And each year this magazine has two big gun shows, one out east in Pennsylvania somewhere, I think, and it's smaller, and then this one out in the Arizona State Fairgrounds. And that'll be going on this weekend in conjunction with the Crossroads promoter. So gun show promoter. So it's a really big gun show. I'm going to be going up there and hanging out with a bunch of people that I get to meet every year. And it brings a bunch of people together from around the country, and really awesome experience. And look forward to that. If you've got big gun shows in your area, consider, I don't know, doing something about it, making a video or something, or I don't know, do something, take some pictures and share them. All right, so George Bush, let's see, yeah, the Colorado hiking boots with the big red laces. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I guess that's it. So I feel like I'm missing something. We're going to do something else today, but maybe I'm forgetting. That'll happen sometimes. So it's been a good run, 700 episodes. Thanks everybody for jumping in. You got anything you guys want to plug? Sarge, when's your next show? You doing tomorrow?
Well, no, we did one last night. No, yeah, last night. What am I working next week? It'd be next Thursday night.
Okay.
It'd be Thursday night because I got to work over the weekend.
Okay. And then tomorrow's Caliber Corner. Travis does a show every Saturday morning. They'll do Rick's Life as I See It in the afternoons. I'll do a 2A summit. Will I do a 2A summit? I won't do a 2A summit tomorrow, but might do something after in live or on remote. And then stay tuned for Sunday stuff. If you want to participate and create your own show, feel free. Weekends are a great time to test whatever it would be, test the internet, and find people that'll jump in and have a general discussion, or if you want to have a discussion on a specific topic, you're always welcome. And most of the people over on Gun Channels will be happy to chat whatever topic you might want to talk about. Otherwise, got some political things going on. Be active, and I don't have anything to end the show with, so I'll just quit talking and